Hey everybody, Brian here, and we've got episode 3 of the Mission35 FIRE show. And literally, what we're trying to accomplish with the FIRE show here is just help people aspire to do better things, bigger things, grow, increase your wealth. And no better person that I can think of to light a fire under your ass than the guy joining me today, Mr. Rock Solid Patrick Gulka. How are you, buddy?
Hey, you know what? I couldn't be better. Life is good. Every day is good. Every day's a blessing, and we gotta think about it that way. And it's life's a little better.
I totally agree, man. And you know what? I'm glad you took the time out here. And Pat, I've been buddies with you for a while. You've got a phenomenal family, Michelle, the girls. You got an amazing business, and I just really want to bring you on here because it's different times. Lots happened in the past 8 weeks, and I wanted to. How does home inspections look? Just out of curiosity, right now, what's going on with home inspections?
To be honest with you, it's a different world, but it's much the same. From our perspective, it hasn't changed that much. We've kind of seen one of a couple things happen. We've either seen solo inspections, which is basically a lot of the brokers are saying, just go into the house, just you, no agents, no clients, no owners, go do your thing. And then we're doing a lot of exactly this. We're doing a lot of Zoom conferences about the reports afterwards and about the house. Personally, it's not my ideal because I'm a people person. I'm an interactive guy, and I like to have people there and bring them into the education of the home inspection, and that's huge to me. But business-wise, I mean, there's a lot of people out there who are realizing that this is not a dead time. This is a time to capitalize,
Yeah.
and this is a time to look at the lower rates, to refi, and to reinvest because there's less competition. The rates are cheaper. Yeah, there's some roadblocks. I know the debt load ratios have changed up. I'm sure you've talked about that.
Yeah, you know what? There's some changes in the lending market right now for sure, but I think you hit on a great point where it's just kind of like you're still doing home inspections. They still
Yeah.
need to be done. Mortgages are still being done. The only thing that's changed, it's not necessarily the business has changed, but it's how we do it has changed. Now we're,
Yes.
dude, I
100%.
miss you and want to give you a big hug, but now we're doing a Zoom meeting. So it's,
A sandwich at Panino Teca. That's what we got to
yes,
do, my friend.
tech, right? I totally agree. So listen, I wanted to tell everybody here because I admire your story, and for those that don't know about it, too, like you have had a great job, and like you left your
Yes.
job to do home inspections, right? And I think for a lot of people, that's kind
But
of scary.
basically, I mean, on paper, I'm still part of that, and
Right.
they're kind enough to sort of let me continue to ride things out while I pursue this business. But I'm at a point where I've outgrown it now. I mean, for those who don't know me, I spent about 16 years working in the law enforcement field. That's about as specific as I'll get as to what I did
Don't
before this.
cross
But that
Patrick.
that
Don't
guy's a
cross him.
that guy's a different guy. Um, he's yeah, honestly, it taught me a lot of what it is to be a home inspector, because as a home inspector, you've got to run in with a certain amount of confidence. You have to run in and you have to instantly make everybody trust and believe you. And that moment of doubt is the moment you lose everybody. And in the law enforcement world, that's key. You can't show doubt, you can't show weakness. And taking that over into the home inspection world, that's a lot of times the dads show up, and the dads are always the arms crossed, staring at you. You figure them out pretty quick once they realize, hey, this guy knows his stuff. He's confident, and he's got a good sense of humor, and he's going to get everybody through it.
Well, and you know
That's
what?
it, man.
I think that's one of, speaks to your sort of philosophy on customer service, right? Like you got into this, you were wildly successful. You have great Google reviews as well, too. For people looking to start a business, what was your philosophy on like building something brand new? Like Rock Solid Home Inspections went from nothing to like something. And what was your philosophy on that? How did you do that?
Um, to answer that question, I sort of akin it back to my marriage. Um, without all the success I have, I owe to the fact that my wife was behind me the whole way, holding me up in my moments of doubt, and pushing me towards the success that she thought I could have. The other piece of that is in relation to customer service. I believe in the concept that you never ever stop dating your wife, and
Ooh.
I feel the same way with your clients. The day that you rest on your laurels is the day you are going to fall short. So when we receive all these reviews, and I don't put money into marketing, really. The marketing we put in is hard work on our clients, and we get these great reviews. And quite honestly, all I say to people is, I'm going to continue to strive to be worthy of what you've just said about me. And
I
that's it.
love that. I love it. And you know what? I think a lot of people always look for the secret sauce. A lot of people look for, how can I cut the corner? How can I do this? And the fact of the matter is, the more books I read, the more successful people I talk to, it's so freaking easy. It's just hard work. You just got to
Yeah.
do what you say you're going to do, and not, like you said, rest on your laurels. And you got to, and it's something that you're always striving for. It's not like you hit the destination like you. A lot of people would probably look at other home inspectors and say, "Oh, you're there, but you're still climbing."
No.
Yeah.
And you never stop climbing. I mean, and stay humble and stay kind. You know, if you have to understand that when you go into these people's houses, you're a huge inconvenience. You're a huge problem in their life. And if you do make a mistake or you do something that offends them, you know what? Sometimes it's a matter of a pound of flesh. And if a pound of flesh means, hey man, I'm really sorry, I got some insulation dust on your clothes and I missed it. I apologize. You know what? Make it right somehow. And you know
Yeah.
what? Sometimes if you throw somebody an I'm sorry gift card to the keg for $50, it all of a sudden life is a lot better. They view you a different way, and that can all of a sudden turn negative into a positive.
You know what? It's a great point, because I notice time, it really does not matter if you're right or wrong if someone doesn't believe you're right. And it's kind of like, and I know we feel the same way, because what's the point of arguing, right? If you're going to sit there and argue about who's right or wrong, even if you're right, you're still wrong at the end of the day, and it doesn't matter, right? So you might as well just
And
say, I'm
it's not
sorry.
worth the bad press. It's not worth the headaches, and sometimes that small investment of a pound of flesh, let's call it, is your marketing.
I 100% agree. And I've always admired that about you, because I think that growth, that I call it that career capital gets
Yeah,
you
I dig that.
bigger and bigger, right? So I want to, talk about too, because like you seem to do it all. You're also a real estate investor too. And I was curious what inspired you to sort of get your first property and do that as well, because, some people just take the safe route, get a job, you know what I mean? Now we're in a time frame where people are considering different options for life. So you did the job, then the self-employed and real estate investment as well too. So tell us about that.
When it comes to the real estate investment, again, I'm gonna put my wife on a pedestal. She runs it. Like she's the boss lady when it comes to that. Who we kidding? She runs a lot of the business too, and our household. God love her. I'm just decoration in her life sometimes, I think. To be dead honest,
Hey,
frankly,
Pat, I'm with you. I'm just gonna say, you'll notice I'm in my wife's closet right now doing it. So,
I was gonna let that go because I like
oh
women.
yeah,
So I was
well,
just gonna let that go.
they're not my shoes, okay? It's just
I don't judge, brother. I
the
don't
best
judge.
Wi-Fi in the house, okay? But sorry, go on. Michelle is
So
a
we
superstar.
wound up in a position, and sort of the prerequisite to this is I saw a lot of buddies over the years who tried the rental market, and a lot of guys got their asses handed to them.
Yeah.
Tenants that didn't want to get out, problem tenants. I have one buddy who's a very good friend of mine. He got into the worst case scenario where he vetted a guy, rented the house out to the guy, and the guy started a meth op in the house, and he lost his shirt and his back. And
Oh,
now, I mean, years later, he stands tall, and those are the types of things that stood in the way and went, hey man, maybe you shouldn't do this. It's a lot of risk, but without great risk, there's no great reward. For me, it was all opportunity. We wound up at a point where we were moving, and we were essentially going to sell the house we lived in, build the new house, the nicer house, and our mortgage was not going to change. We could have stayed steady and stayed the course. And
right.
instead, I started to solicit advice from people outside the box.
Mhm.
Here's my theory on this. I believe that there's kind of the world out there, and life's kind of a shipwreck. The people who are going through the rat race, and the people who are living day to day, and the people who don't take the risks, they're drowning in the water because paycheck, paycheck, paycheck. These are the people who are getting really hurt by quarantine.
Yeah.
Other
Yeah.
people are those with passive investments. Guys like yourself, guys like me to a much smaller scale, and the people you work with on a regular basis. These are people who are saying, no, you know what? I see that if I do this, my growth is incredible. And those people, I like to say that those are the people in the lifeboats. And most of them will actually try to pull you up into that boat. But understand that those people who are scared of you going into the boat will try to pull you back down. And that's the
Ooh.
people who are scared of investing. They will try to pull you back in the water. It's to anybody who's thinking about it. And I'll tell you this, and it's life changing. What it does for you in your financial security, in your portfolio, and what you think you can do. I routinely look at my wife and I say, "Do you believe we're even talking about doing this?" And it's just because we took the risks, and now realities are available to us that we never ever dreamed were possible. And I can't speak it enough. I love one quote. Andrew Carnegie,
Yeah.
one of the original American millionaires, said that 90% of millionaires became so through owning real estate, and it's the truest fact.
I love that. And you know what? I listened to another guy that I love. Have you ever heard Ed Milet before? He's you'd like him if you haven't.
I think I've heard you drop his name once or twice. Yeah.
But he ends up, and same thing do you say, your lifeboat analogy, and what he says is that you have a thermostat in life. And it's kind of like as soon as you achieve something, and like a thermostat always tries to regulate and keep you at the same temperature, right? Yes. When you buy that first rental property, when you take that first risk, when you sort of exercise that courage muscle the first time, it elevates your thermostat. So if you're going through life at 75 degrees, and then all of a sudden you take that risk, and now your life is just elevated to 85 degrees. That's your new normal. Like your new normal, you just elevated your whole life game, right? And now all of a sudden it's just, that's the level you play at now. You operate at. You operate from a level of having a new sense of financial security and a new sense of what's possible. And I think
and one thing people need to really understand about that is surround yourself with the right people. If you're surrounded by people who don't do this, but you have an inkling that, hey, maybe I should, those people aren't going to push you up and say, do it. Right. They're going to hold you back down. You go around and start talking to some people who are real estate investors. Most of them will tell you, do it. Do it. They're not going to hold you out. They're going to bring you in. They want you in their world. And those are the guys that open your eyes to it. And the second you start surrounding yourself with those people, man, your view of life changes.
So you know, and we look at life right now because I think a lot of people have had some time to think in quarantine. I know, you know, some time to eat, probably some time to drink, you know, but that's another story, right? What do you think what's your mindset now on investing now or doing something now? Because I think there's a lot of uncertainty. What would your advice be to people do now?
I go back. A great man once told me, his name is Brian. I'm not going to tell you what his last name is. Always drops a quote from the owner of Mattamy Homes. And he says that I have never seen house prices so high. And I've been saying that for the last 35 years.
Yeah.
And you're not going to lose. You're not going to lose. I saw a really great meme running around right now, and some of the agents are using it. And it's one of those quotes, and it says, "I really regret investing in real estate, said no one ever." You're not going to lose.
I can't agree more. You know what? Like we've actually had, and I'm so proud, we've had 3 people in our office buy real estate in the past 2 months during this.
I love it.
And I couldn't agree more. And I'm glad that, you know, you have that philosophy. And I find that's the mindset, like you said, you want to be around, right?
Yes.
The doom and gloom and the fear will always be there, right? But through that uncertainty will come more and more certainty there, right?
Oh,
Cool. So have you, and then with all that doom and gloom, have you heard of people or clients or investors in your network having trouble with tenants right now? Just out of curiosity, people not paying. There's a lot
some, yes. We've had a lot of ups and downs in regards to places that I'm going to inspect, for example, or places that are selling with a tenant where the tenants are saying, no, you're not coming in. And it's one of those situations where it's easy for them to say no, but then all of a sudden some Italian home inspector shows up at the door, knocks on, and goes, "Hey man, listen," and all of a sudden I'm in the door. You know what? It's just about respect. Like, respect each other. I find that my philosophy on tenants is this: I don't believe in getting a high volume property and expecting to get the best tenant out there. I like producing a nicer product, and if that means I lay down new flooring when I don't need to because I'm going to get a higher end person, I will. If that or sink because I know the higher end person will like it, great. I give my tenants Christmas presents. Why do I do that? I want them to appreciate me because genuinely I appreciate them. They are assisting me in wealth generation and creating a net worth that I never thought I'd be able to obtain. So if I can do a little something and say thank you, all of a sudden now, when it's my turn to maybe get screwed, they look and they think to themselves, "Man, the guy's a good guy, and he buys us Christmas presents. How are we going to screw him over?"
You know what? It's funny because like at the end of the day, people are people. Relationships, I think relationships are more valuable now in this day and age than ever before, right? Especially
Yeah.
through these unusual times we've gone through. And I couldn't agree more. I had a almost 100% pay rate with my properties, and you're exactly right. I had tenants that texted me saying a week before the end of March, the end of April, when I started thinking, whew, this could be deep for me, right?
Yeah.
They were texting me saying, like, Brian, just letting you know, I'm going to be paying my rent. And it's because, like you said, you treat people with respect, you do what you say you're going to do, people are human, you know what I mean? And I think,
Be the landlord you like to rent off of. Be the landlord that you would like to be renting a property off of. And to me, that comes back to humility. Be humble. Being humble in life, I think, is more important than people want to give credit to. Drop your pride. Don't think you're above anybody. Just be a good person. Do what you can to be a good person.
Did you just drop the microphone right there, Pat? 'Cause that's just like right there.
Boom!
All right, so lightning round for you.
Yeah, for sure.
What is your favorite book?
I gotta go. I'm not a big book guy, but I gotta say, Tuesdays with Maury, one of the only books I've ever read cover to cover in one sitting.
I love it. Okay.
Really, really good life lessons on how to be a better person. That's kind of cool in my books.
You could write that book, my friend. What's your favorite movie?
I don't know about that, man.
Yes, you could. Yes, you could. What's your favorite movie?
I got to go back to Godfather. The Italian roots coming back out in me.
All right. I like it. And if you were a superhero, who would you be?
I think I got to say I would be Superman, and I'll tell you why. Not because I want to have an ego, but because when you look at your wife, when you look at your kids, when you look at your dog, they already think you are Superman. And if you can strive to be anything, you should strive to be what they think you already are.
Oh, I love it. Pat, I love you, buddy. And what's the first thing you're going to do coming out of isolation quarantine? What are you going to do? What's the first thing you want to do?
I'm looking to first things first, take my wife to a nice dinner, buy her a lobster, some seafood, and just enjoy a little bit of time at a restaurant. I can't believe how much I miss a restaurant right about now. It's crazy.
I feel you, buddy. Oh, that's awesome.
And,
Pat,
and
I just want to
try to grab a lunch with a good buddy.
We're doing it. We're getting a sandwich. Listen, I want to say thanks before Elsa takes over again and freezes us. But listen, one thing I love about having people like you in my life is because I believe that you rise up to the expectations that other people have of you. And when other people have high expectations of you, you're forced to be a better person. And you're one person that commands good people around him, Patrick. So I'm happy to be one of those guys around you, brother. So thank you for who you are and all you do, man. Truly love you a ton, man. So stay safe.
Thank you for being you. You're a damn good friend. You're just a hell of a guy to know. And anybody who wants to surround themselves with good people, start with this man right here. Done a lot to change my viewpoints on things and change up my life for the better. So to good people, my friend.
Cheers, buddy. I love you, man.